I just spoke about a man who had a farm, but then this same man, besides the plants that he planted, besides the fruits and the food, he also had animals. He had sheep, he had goats, he had pigs, and he had a chicken coop. And it was a very vibrant, very lively chicken coop. There were old chickens, there were young chickens, there were female chickens. Life was just going. This chicken coop was like a state on its own. You know, the chicken lived as if they were independent. You know, they were just interdependent with the human population of that farm. Well, every night when they were going to go to bed, the young chickens would be asking the older chickens, "Tell us a story," and they'd be telling stories. And then there was a particular old chicken that looked menacing. He had one eye. He walked with a limp, and it was just his feathers were scratched. And the mother hens would be telling the baby chicks that this guy is bad. He's done this, he's done that, and he was such a legend. Well, there was somebody called Old Crawley with the beamy eyes, and the mothers would use that to terrify the children. And every night these kids would go to bed. If a child wants to misbehave, they tell them, "Old beamy, slimy eyes is going to come," and they would just be like, and the kids will behave. Well, one day, after lights out, the baby chicks went to bed, and a particular chick noticed something shiny in the dark. And he kept looking and looking and didn't know what to do. And he started thinking, is that old beamy, slimy eyes, or that creature that my mommy tells me about? And then he noticed that the thing moved. And baby chick burst out in loud squawking, and suddenly the whole coop came alive until the man came and turned on the light, and everybody, all the chicks were just quacking, quack, 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 quack. It was such a raucous. But this man didn't know what the chicks were talking about, but the chicks could communicate. And the little chick was telling his mommy chick, "I saw that slimy thing. Are you sure?" And everybody rushed to this, to the legend of the chicken coop. And he said, "Wow, it's okay. Young chick, come sleep with me." So that night, the baby chick slept beside it. And for like a week, they were free of any trouble. But then some other chick woke up in the middle of the night and the same thing. And that day when they woke up, they realized that some eggs were missing. And the legend of the chicken coop said, yes, another one has returned. Apparently, a few years earlier, he had had a clash with something like that, and he had survived, he had lived to tell the tale. So after a while, this little slimy thing was actually a snake, was a serpent. And the serpent kept on coming, and it was getting bolder and taking more eggs, and even snatching a chick or two. And the whole chicken coop was in disarray. It was like, a northern middle Nigerian village that's been attacked by herdsmen. It's like, what are we going to do? There was panic all over. And it was terrible. So, well, they just kept on thinking of ways. They'll have meetings at night, they'll put up guard. But when that thing came, the guys would be able to do anything. So one day, it wasn't even late. This snake began to be hungry or something and decided to come. It was bolder now. It was just almost eventide, and the thing just came. And every chicken in that coop saw this serpent. And there was massive panic. Everybody was running helter-skelter. And it was just running helter-skelter. And this legend of the chicken coop was thinking, today might be the day I'm going to die. So he says, I have to go and defend these people, these little chickens, because, they're depending on me. So he began to hobble quickly to go to fight this serpent. We all know he couldn't fight it, but he would just had to be the legend. And as he was approaching it, suddenly, out of nowhere, something swooped from the sky and then swooped and picked the serpent and flew off. And all the chicks looked up and said, what on earth happened? And that day, the legend told them that what you saw was an eagle. And it was amazing. I said, what? Is he a bird? I said, yes, he's a bird. But he eats what eats us. And it was such an amazing situation. They said, wow, what gave this other bird this kind of power? Now, I want to talk about perspective. All I'm talking about is perspective. You know, on a level ground, what the chickens were seeing was death. But from the perspective of the eagle, what he saw was food. How are you seeing your problem? How are you visualizing your trouble? Is it looking at you in the face? Or are you having an aerial view? Sometimes the key to overcoming problems, because we're going to face problems in life, we're going to see trouble, we're going to see challenges, is to look at a challenge from a position of advantage, to look up, down at it. You might just be able to develop a better perspective to what's your problem, to what challenge it is. It is all about perspective. How do you see what you see? Is your trouble overcoming you? Then you must be on the same level. You must be in the dirt. In the dirt. You need to rise. You need to lift your vision. You need to raise yourself higher. You need to look from a different perspective. You must have a bird eye view, a God view. You must rise up and look down. And then you are able to see things in their actual, or maybe not actual state, but you're able to see things in a state that accords you that advantage. So what's your perspective? Are you a chicken? Are you an eagle? Are you face to face with your fear? Or are you above it? It's your choice.